Still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications options. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on, just carries on.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters. It is the Fans Forum on Monday, the 1st of December, the festive period almost amongst us. And breaking news on Sky Sports tonight is that Johan Wissa has not been selected for Congo's AFCON squad as predicted. Told it full focus on Newcastle as a priority, given the time and effort that they have put into him and paying for him to play for Newcastle United. So that is another bit of breaking news, which I think will warm the cockles of many Newcastle fans' hearts. He's not included in the squad. So if you're just tuning in, Johan Wissa not going to the African Cup of Nations. And he's not far away either from playing for Newcastle United, making his debut at long last. So coming into the festive period, that's a great Christmas present, an early Christmas present for Newcastle United fans. And another early Christmas present for Newcastle United fans, George, was a wonderful 4-1 win. I've banned Darren from the Fans Forum tonight because, of course, he's negative. Why should we have any negativity about an away game? I'm joking. He couldn't make it tonight. He had another engagement, so he couldn't make it tonight. And he said he had nothing to be negative about, so it was pointless coming on. But no, I
was looking forward to him being first, as the fact he was one of the ones that was there. So
I just think he wanted a week off. He wanted a week off from Jeff. I think that was the thing. So anyway, anyway, George, 4-1. I mean, it was a great performance. I was down there. It was probably the best performance from our fans as well. From start to finish, Newcastle fans were singing. We had plenty to sing about. That's to be fair. I mean, look, I didn't want to pick anybody out. There was, of course, some great performances from the likes of Lewis Miley, who was exceptional. It was a coming of age performance from Lewis Miley. I think 60th appearance in a black and white shirt at the age of 19. You've got to go back to the days of Steve Watson, I think, for somebody who's played as regularly, and he's really starting to shine. And Eddie Howe at his press conference today said that he was now pushing for a first team place. He is their equal, is what he said about Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton, and Bruno Guimaraes. He's their equal, and he's pushing for a start. So that's great news as far as we're concerned. Of course, Voltemada with another wonderful, sublime finish this time. Just another one to his ever-grown show reel. And 2 goals from the centre-half who is on everyone's lips at the minute. A bargain he's turning out to be. Malik Chow has been absolutely superb. And 2 goals goals, 2 wonderful headed goals, one from a corner, one from an in-swinging cross from young Lewis Hall. And we kind of praise our 2 fullbacks enough. The 2 fullbacks have been exceptional as well since their return. One feels that they probably would have beaten Marseille, or at least got something out of Marseille had Lewis Hall started that game. But I get it. You've got to rest these players. You've got to rotate, and that's up to Eddie. That's what he gets. That's what he gets paid the big bucks for. Leading into nice 2 home games now. Of course, Spurs and then Burnley. 6 points, maximum points in these 2 games would see us nicely back in those European runners and riders. With a derby on the horizon, a trip to Germany, and then the Sunderland game as well. It's all starting to heat up. But yeah. Great performance, George. What did you make of it? I know you've not been very well, George, but you're feeling a bit better, which is great news.
Well, I am. I've got a mild dose of this flu, that the nurse said. And by Saturday, the doctor was deciding whether or not I was going to go be sent to hospital. So if that's a mild dose, for God's sake, I don't want the real thing. No, seriously, it was... better than good. It was just fantastic, and goes to what I've said on here nearly every time. If we got the best team playing to their best form, we can beat anybody, and Everton weren't anybody. I did have a feel that we had a chance anyway because of the way Everton were playing. They've been doing the reverse of us. We've been great at home and poor away. Well, they've been poor at home and great away, so it was on Saturday, and I've got to say that the new stadium looks nice. I don't know what you thought about it, Steve, because you were there, but I've got to say to the Everton fans, whether it's a new stadium or the old stadium, when you sneak out, it's easy to see. I've never seen a stadium so empty for the last 15 minutes of a game as that stadium was. There were so many blue seats, it was embarrassing for them. Never mind for us.
I thought we were playing City, George.
It was really, really embarrassing. And got to the game, we from back to front to back, there was stars all the way around. But again, it's a game that emphasised how much better we are when those 2 young fullbacks are in the team. How much better they make Barnes and Elanga because they're behind them. Elanga was a different player because he had Tino behind him, and throughout the team they played well. And Dan Burn's a huge bloke. That's the first time I've seen a team use a 6 foot odd centre back as a decoy, because that's what they did. Every time he made a move for the ball, all the Everton defenders went running for Dan Burn and left Chow Chow to do his thing, and it just couldn't believe it. It was so simple, but a tactic that worked, and a one which worked a treat for right through, and some great play. I mean, Valdemar did score a very stylish goal, but his general play again was just superb. He's a player to play off. He knows where to be, to lay off to his teammates, and I thought he did that very classically on Saturday. And the only person I was going to mention, you've done it, Steve, was the coming of age of young Mr. Miley. We don't need to say it, because for the first time in a long, long time, I heard an away coach, an opposing team's coach, single out one of our players. And David Moyes is no fool, and he was very lavish in his plays for Lewis Miley, and rightly so. He played a real man's game, and Eddie Howe's right. He should be knocking on the door of the first team, because with performances like that, he's going to start to run games in a way in which we've been looking for others to do as well. So it adds another link to the midfield, which is very strong already, and will get even stronger. You all will know that last year, and probably into the year before when he first started, I kept saying we've got a good player. If they can get an extra yard out of him, he'll be a great player. Well, it looks to me, I could be wrong, but it looks to me like they've got the extra yard out of him because he was different class on Saturday. And I think we're in for some great things from Lewis Smiley with Newcastle United. There's so much for the lads to say. I'll go off, Steve, and let other people have a go. But it was absolutely brilliant. Couldn't have enjoyed it anymore.
Yeah, stadium update from me. I mean, Richie from Everton's in the chat tonight. I said the same when Dixie was on last night. To be honest, I'm not impressed with it. It's not an easy place to get to. Obviously, we went down on a bus. We got pulled up outside the ground. It was, yeah. There's not a great deal around the stadium. Granted, you can walk into the stadium. It's a half an hour walk. I believe there's a train that drops you off. But again, I didn't experience that. Of course, Scunny Mag did his review on Friday for all of you to see. But I mean, there's plenty of bars in Liverpool, but it's a little bit out off the beaten track. For a stadium, for an away fan experience, it's very like the Riverside. It's in the middle of nowhere, difficult to get to, and there's nothing to do outside the ground other than walk in and go in. The bar inside for away fans, if you get there early, it's great. Get in, have a drink, and then go to your seat. But half time, absolute nightmare. 3,000 fans all in one space. I mean, it's great for an atmosphere. We're 3-0 up and everyone's singing. But not great. I'm going to be honest, not great at all. And for a new stadium, bearing in mind, your benchmark's got to be Spurs. I hope Newcastle United's directors had a look at that and basically said, right, we know what we've got to do and we know what we haven't got to do. Inside the stadium for atmosphere and the way that it looked, the amphitheatre, if you like, was nice. But yeah, there's a few things that disappointed. Not the best stadium. Certainly not one I would say is in my top 10 in the Premier League. Certainly not. Kev, great to see Eddie Howe again. Trying different things, and he tried different things against Marseille. He tried different things again and rotated again at the weekend. But two, back-to-back Premier League wins. We hadn't done that this season, and an away win. We hadn't done that this season either. That's two of those proverbial monkeys off our backs, Kev.
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't get to watch it. I had the pleasure of listening to it on the radio on a 4.5-hour ride up to Tennessee on Saturday. So it was nice to actually listen to it on the radio for a change instead of actually watching it, kicking it old school. But like I said, it's it's the building of consistency. From the highlights and bits and pieces that I've seen, the team looked very balanced. To see what George was saying with the two natural fullbacks of right-footed, left-footed, etc. Again, can't wax lyrical about Malik Jar. I thought those two headers were like a centre forward. It seems like he's been playing centre forward half of his life, which was nice to see. Seeing a finish from a set play. The one big thing for me was from the highlights package that I seen was how high Voltemada was up the park more. He looked like he was higher up. You could see from his brilliant finish. I don't know where he dug that out from. I think Darren said it was like a 99-degree lob wedge that he got it over Pickford, which is not hard, or whoever said it in the chat. But I mean, I could get it over them with his short arms, right? Anybody could. I think in Eddie Howe's even said it that they've been working on certain things without him, but now when he's in the mix and in training in and around it, then he's just pretty much slotted in, and this is how it's going to go. And he's seen with his goal, like I said, the ball from Livramento was pretty much just a turn everything around, essentially. The lad let it bounce, Elanga pressed him and won the ball back, and a great ball inside, but then it was all him from that point. But if you watch him, he was always high. He was always pretty much in the attacking third when that moment happened. And if he does that more, he's obviously going to score more goals. It's pretty simple. But it was just nice to see him get away from the ball, and that it's like a contradictory statement. Yes, you want it, but if you make a double movement and go away, then you're dragging and creating more space. And that was the feeling I was getting from the commentary was there was a lot of space in the middle third for the latter part of the game. Granted, with 3-4-1 up, that's what he creates. He created that middle third space if he's pushing high and being a focal point. So that was nice to hear. I mean, but overall, I predicted 3-1 last week. I was relatively positive. Ice cream man just popped up. No, so but look, again, it's winning on the road in the Premier League, which we've never had all season. It was just nice to get that proverbial monkey off, get some consistency, take it into Tottenham, who are typical Tottenham. You never know what you're going to get from them. So hopefully we can take advantage of that tomorrow night, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But then the one obviously is going at home to Burnley. So then again, 4 wins in the Premier League on the bounce. And then get ourselves up the division, which is ultimately what we want, and take some confidence going into obviously a very important period, i.e. the Bayer Leverkusen game. Not going to be an easy one away from home in the Champions League. It never is. And then obviously the big one the following weekend. So it's all teetering and it's all burning and bubbling nicely for that to be quite an occasion on that specific day. So yeah, very pleased, happy, and let's continue.
Yeah, just had a photo from Mozza and Alan. They are sitting at the stack with Denise and Darren. They're at the meeting tonight, which obviously the club have put on with the new CEO, David Hopkinson. So those asking about the ground, and we're not getting any updates. You might get one tonight from that meeting. We'll wait and see. Adam, good to see you, mate. Yeah, great result. We have 4-1 on the road. It's only a couple of seasons since we beat Everton, of course, at Goodison 4-1, but that was an important win on the road for us at the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I think whenever I think of Everton away, I always think of that night the pumped were 3-0, and it happened so quickly. I think it was McNeil that actually tore with the shreds. And for some reason in my head, I thought that was going to happen again. I don't know why. I think it's because the kind of run that we've been on. So I was a bit in shock of the result. Didn't get to watch it, but I was listening on the way up to a gig, and when I seen it was 1-2-3-0 at half time, I thought, I can get used to this in away games. I tell you, had no abuse from my dad, so that was always a nice change as well. I think it was just the foundations of the defence were right. You had Ramsdale in goal, and although it's minor details with the keeper having the ball at his feet, but Ramsdale every time he had it, it was just different. There was just one pass he picked out, and it looked simple on the TV, and he's kind of split the defence and played straight through the middle to Miley or Tonali, I think. With Pope, he doesn't do that. He just gets a lump forward, and there's no real technical ability. I think when you've got a keeper like Ramsdale in goal that can do that, it does give that different element. And I think the back four just looked so settled with having him behind them as well. I think they knew they could pass the ball back to him when needed. That he could pass the ball out as well, and he could pick someone out. The two fullbacks, Hall and Livramento, I think they're your Premiership fullbacks. I think if you can maybe rest one of them for the Champions League, so they're ready for the derby, maybe Hall and slot Burn in there, then maybe you have to do that. But I think that back four that we used on Saturday was the strongest back four that we can use in the Premier League, truth be told. I think that is the strongest back four. And we're just null and voided anything Everton could do. In my opinion, I think Everton have turned a good corner, and compared to what they were a couple of seasons ago. And David Moyes, he's turned into a team that aren't mugs anymore. So that's why I'm shocked at the result. I think what Eddie Howe's doing, when you were saying about experimenting a bit, few changes, I think he's going to have a Premiership lineup and a Champions League lineup. And I think that would be something that would work really well, especially with the big one on the horizon. And you've got 2 home games that are very winnable as well. I think he's going to have to see what's more realistic to do well in. Although, yes, everyone wants to do well in the Champions League, I think everyone has to be realistic on what the priority should be as well, and it is the Premier League. Voltemada looks a little bit more settled now as well, and you could have seen the way he was closing down as well. It wasn't aggressive, but he was starting to get his angles right, and you can tell he's starting to get used to the speed of the Premier League, how the defences play out, how the keepers can play out, and you could tell on the angling of him dictating it, and then Elanga shifting or Vaughan shifting, you could kind of see the way they're all moving together. I'd like to think we've turned the corner. Obviously, the season hasn't been all bright to begin with, but I would like to think we've turned the corner now, Steve.
Yeah, me too. Ian, great result, wasn't it? Good to have you back on the panel as well.
Cheers, pal. Yeah, I know. Good to be back, lads. Sorry, I've been away. I think so. It's about 3 weeks since I've been on, and I think the last time I was on, we were missing fullbacks, and I discussed the importance of the fullbacks to the team, and that's proven out. So for once, I think I was actually right on that one, which even a broken clock's right twice a day. But you know what I mean. You can see when Tino and all are playing, we're a different team, because they can get forward, they can get up the pitch, they can overlap, they can get forward, but they can get back, and the confidence then sort of with everybody else from the midfield forward, you can see the confidence they've got in the back four. I thought Ramsdale. It was the right decision to bring him in. I think he was itching to do something, and there was next to nothing for him to do. But what he did well, and I think he deserves now to have a run in the team. Lewis Miley, I thought honestly that's one of the best performances that I've seen. Do you know what Lewis Miley is? I said this to Emily's dad. I went, do you know what it's like? It's like watching a bigger version, younger version of Bruno. He's been training with Bruno. He's been training, with Tonali and with all these great players. The way he shields the ball, the way he's so calm on the ball, he watching him now. I thought that I would pick him. I'd pick him before Big Joe, I'll be honest with you. Because I think he can do what Joe does, but he can pass the ball 4 yards in the right direction. He's not going to smash people like Joe, and maybe people will call us out, but, because Joe has been great for us. But I honestly, I thought he was brilliant. That was probably his most mature game for us.
Yeah, it was.
The fact he scored the goal, and the way that it happened, and I'm not. Yeah, exactly. That was like one of the funniest things I've seen for a long time. And they all, to a man, I don't think there was a bad performance on the pitch. Even Willett came on and did all right. So I would say that as long as we keep our full, we need to keep the fullbacks fit and have. We've got 3 good fullbacks for me, and we need 2 of them on the pitch at any one time for us to be able to play the formation that we play. But it was brilliant, and Voltemada's lob was honestly, as soon as he got the ball, I thought initially for some reason I went, he's offside, and he was miles on. So I don't know what angle I had on me dodgy fire stick. Not that I've got one, but I went, he's offside, and I just thought he's just knocked it in dead chilled out because he knew he was offside, and then he was 2 meters on or something. And Voltemada was whoever said it before, I think Kev said before, he seemed to be further up the pitch. He did drop back into the hole a few times, but only when players were getting forward, and that's what we need him to do. I just thought, all in all, brilliant performance. Shame we didn't keep a clean sheet, but you can't have everything. And the last person I want to talk about is Chow. I nearly swore then, but flipping heck, what a player for 30 million quid. I would honestly, I have not seen him put a foot wrong in a game, really, that I can remember. I don't, call us out if I'm wrong, but he is excellent, and he's a young kid. He's only going to get better. So yeah, no, I was absolutely buzzing, lads, to be honest.
Good stuff. Tom, welcome back as well. A little sabbatical in America, but I know you've been keeping an eye on the the Newcastle United matches and results. And perfect timing, Tom, coming back with a 4-1 win.
Well, thank you. I timed that perfectly. I'm sorry Darren's not on, not so much to hear any negativity. I don't think he has anything negative to say. But the difference between the Marseille, how they treated the fans there, I wanted to talk about that because it was just terrible. I know that he went to the match. I listened, of course, to NUFC Matters, and I listened to the Geordies, etc. But I wanted to get that firsthand experience from him, how poorly we were treated in Marseille. And conversely, I know you don't like the location of the Everton Stadium, but I tell you what, it was a cracking thing to watch on TV. I really enjoyed watching the match there. Especially, I went on to the Everton fans channel or something, and the host there was in their end, and it was looking out towards where the Geordies were. And at 75 minutes, the stadium was empty except for the Geordie fans going crazy. So I thought about Darren again a couple times there. So anyway, Darren, get us some good information at the stack tonight. But it was really, I wanted to get his feedback on both stadium experiences, really. As far as the match, I know Lee's been calling out for Ramsdale for quite some time, and I don't think there's anything to take away Pope as a shot stopper, but he certainly has limitations with his feet and sometimes with his judgment. And I think Adam said that our best back four was playing yesterday, and I agree with him. You can't keep Dan Burn out of the team. He's not only a threat offensively, but he also is really a second captain on the field, and he really organizes a lot of things in the mental side of it. And everybody has talked about the fullbacks. We've had a bad run of games up and down, but it really comes to our fullbacks. And to have those two guys start really made a huge difference in the match. So I just want to put it here. We're a counter team. We play better on the counter than we're trying to get on the front foot. I don't know why that is. Maybe Valdemata doesn't have the pace up front. Maybe they're still working on the timing of the front three. But we are an incredibly dangerous team on the counter. And Alenga showed us why we bought him yesterday. I thought he was outstanding. I thought that he really kept them on their back foot. And to be frank, they were scared to death of him. Even Barnes brings that pace too. So you have these really two pacey wingers. You got really two good fullbacks. And then you have Valdemata that can spread the ball. He's not a target. We talk about that. He's learning to be. But the fact that he can put the ball exactly where these runners need to be to open up the defense, I think is unbelievably important to our success this season. And when Wissa gets in, he's different. So we're going to have two different styles of play depending on who we play or where we play and how we play. So it's pretty exciting. Didn't talk about the midfielders because I wanted to talk about Miley just a little bit more. I don't know if I keep Joe off the team. I think it's horses for courses. If you need to have a physical presence, you need to have someone that's going to disrupt a team that's going to be on the front foot, etc. I think that Joe Linton does that really, really well. If you want to pick a defense, I think Miley is the guy. I think he's really fantastic that way. And if you want to really counter and really push the ball up the field, you have Willock as well. The fact that we have these midfield all kind of learning their role really puts, I think, the pressure on Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe needs to pick the right teams. We've got a run of fixtures coming up to get the right players on the pitch, I think is going to be key. And my criticism, and it's not new, I love Eddie Howe, but is I think he picks his subs the day before, not the day of the game. He doesn't seem to react to what's happening on the pitch. So it's going to be very important for him to step up there too. So I'm really excited about the future. I think all the pieces are in place. I know that we need another fullback in January. Someone that can be both sides. It shows you how important the fullbacks are to this team. But mostly, I want to see Eddie really pick the right team for the match. And if he does that, I think that we're going to still make Europe.
Good stuff. Lee, you finally got your wish. Ramsdale was in goal, although it wasn't an Eddie an Eddie manoeuvre, so he says, and we, I guess we have to take him at face value when he did say again at the press conference that it's down to injury. We'll let Eddie say that when we'll find out how long Pope's out. But either way, he got in and didn't have a great deal to do. But what he did do, I guess, he did well. So, distributed the ball well. Couldn't be blamed for the goal. So I think most people would expect them to be, continuing in that position, mate. What's your thoughts?
I think that's lies, pal. Eddie texted me beforehand and he said, I'm going to do it, Lee. I'm going to do it. I'm sick of you whinging on a Monday night. I'm going to put him in for you. That's how it went. Yeah, you're exactly right. But I just want to pick up on something Adam said when he said the goalkeeping stuff. It's the small things like the distribution and whatnot. I think when we're talking and when we're playing at our level, there are levels to this game. And I slate Nick Pope, or I have a disproving opinion of Nick Pope. I want to clarify. He's a good lad. He's a good goalkeeper. And I'll keep saying it, for another club, he will be excellent. But at Newcastle United, that play in the Champions League, that play in all competitions, the level and the consistency needs to be the very top. Otherwise, this will be flagged up time and time again. And the goalkeeping position, as we know, the spine of the team is critical. Same with your strikers, same with your centre-backs in your midfield. It's like, the old teams of old, they had a strong spine and then they built around that spine with flair players. And I still think it's like that today to a certain degree. I think
20 years ago, he would have been the best goalkeeper in the league because he didn't have to take the ball then. Do you know what I mean? I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's where we've evolved. And I think Guardiola's got to take a lot of that on board, because I seen Donnarumma against us trying to play passes out from 5 yards and put his team into trouble. So it is the modern role of a goalkeeper. And I think Ramsdale, not just before he come to us, I was a huge fan of his anyway. I always wanted him because I really dislike that idiot that plays for England at the moment. And we saw the best of that man on Saturday, didn't we? Old flappy hands. I've always been a big advocate of Ramsdale. He's just my type of guy. But I think looking at the Everton game, the lads have nailed a lot of the points that I would make. I think football management for Eddie, as many Premier League managers, is just like putting a big jigsaw together. And I think probably for the last month, 2 months, he's been struggling to find the right pieces for the right holes. Some of the changes have been forced upon him, some haven't. And I think probably Saturday it come together as good as it could have come together for him, and the back four, for me, fantastic to see Dan Burn back at centre-back. I just do not want to see Dan Burn at left-back. And that's not against him. That I don't want him put in those kind of positions and predicaments. I think with one thing that does strike me is probably the decline. And I think it's due to his injury, his Botman. And I think he's gone for more scans. Is that right? Somebody might tell me.
He's gone for a scan on his back.
Yeah, and I just think that he's showing signs of a player that's going to start becoming an injury list. I hope I'm wrong. I totally hope I'm wrong. And I tell you one thing, I don't mind standing here admitted tonight, is that I've said before that I don't think Lewis Miley will be at that top grade. And I tell you what, on Saturday, by far the most outstanding player on that football pitch from what I saw. I think we played some fantastic football in pockets. Not only did we control the ball well, Everton, when you look at their centre-backs, Tarkowski and Keane, they're both 6'4", big lumps. They think they're hard men. But I think what was fantastic for us is, you're right, Walter Marday was fearing that attack, but also every now and then he would be dropping off. It was a very clever kind of ploy, I think, just to drag that big lumbering centre-backs just away. And I think that role was played perfectly. If that was worked on, fair play. I think Elanga, another one again, who I've said I'm unsure on, had a good game. I think as a team, as a whole, what we did was exactly what we need to do. I'll be honest, I was a little bit worried after after Everton picked up that little result at Man United. I thought, oh no, they've got the tails on the go. Everton, I'm not a big fan of Everton. They've got the most deluded set of football fans on the planet. So it was fantastic to see that stadium just empty. I mean, I don't know what. I think they were all off to watch reruns of Brookside, maybe, not sure. And I just think, yeah, I'm happy to eat my words. I was happy with the performance on Saturday. A little bit disgruntled with the Marseille thing, but you know what? We're still trying to find that right mix, and I think the right mix was Saturday, as highlighted. I'll leave it there, mate.
Okay, good
Good
stuff. Conscious of the time, I know Adam's got to get off to pick his lass up from work. So, Adam, I just want your predictions for Spurs tomorrow night and Burnley at the weekend.
I think it's going to be quite similar to the Carabao Cup game tomorrow. I think Tottenham will show signs being threatening, but I think we'll win 2-0 against them. And then I'm going to go the same scoreline against Burnley as well.
Okay, good stuff. Adam, I'll let you go, mate. Make sure that you buy tickets for Adam's gig at the Clooney. Just remind everybody where it is and what the crack is.
Yeah, it's a charity gig for the Alan Shearer Foundation on December 21st at the Clooney. All proceeds go to the charity, and it helps provide free school meals, heat the thermal pools, and just give people who a little bit less disadvantaged us a better time.
Great stuff. Where can people buy them?
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Adam Henderson Music. The link's on there, or you can go on the Clooney website and tickets will be on there as well.
Top man. See you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Top man. Okay, over to you, Jeff. Sorry that I've got no picture of Darren to put on tonight, which people get. People like Darren Cam. But yeah, give us your interesting views on the match at the weekend.
Well, let's start with Chow. Why not? He's a very unusual player. With Rex, stop it. He's a sweeping centre back. What? You know, I mean, it's a novel idea. You know, centre backs aren't really meant to be where he ends up. But there's something else about this. We're talking about formations. I think we've got to get beyond that. Rex.
Is Rex humping your leg? That's what
Come here. Stop it. Rex, come here. Come and sit
Get down, Rex, you dirty boy.
There you go. Good boy.
There's Rex.
Right. There's Rex. Yeah, he's whispering in my ear what the score is going to be. 3-0. Yes. Somebody predicted 3-0 at half time, and I was getting quite worried. And thank God somebody scored. Anyway, let's get back to the match. We have several unusual. Will you stop that, Rex? We have several unusual players, including Valderrama, which I think is a fantastic. He's very difficult to mark. What position is he playing? He's everywhere. And it's his movement is fantastic. It's unusual. It's different. And that's the point. The players we're starting to pick up are not your sort of good all-round footballers, your Crafts of the world. They are unusual, very individual people that are very difficult for other teams to work out what's going to happen next with these guys. And the whole idea of positional, we're very fluid, if you know what I mean. People just know, oh, he's not in position, I'll go back and cover. They don't need to be told, right? Which makes it much easier. Right. Reaction videos, my favorite topic. Big up Paul Crew, who's Falcon Blues TV. Now, he left 20 minutes early before half time and gave his review from the pub because he didn't even want to buy any of their horrible beer. So well done him, right? And Everton, well, it's sort of known, you know, they're known for their mints, I suppose, but they have a sort of lost their sense of identity, and you know, and the Red Sea is not parting for them as far as I can see. And as for Moyles, he's a sort of visual tinnitus. Like, it looks like the advert for a man who's got no life insurance and definitely got no pension. And it's a classic example, watching their team, of fear is the mind killer, as the poet Milton famously said, I think. And it was a tactical masterclass in one particular thing which we do really well, and that's bait and switch. Right, we get them all down our left-hand side there. There's all little battle going on. Then suddenly, bang, there's a crossfield ball right over to the right wing where our winger was advanced unnoticed up that side. And suddenly it's all happening on the other side of the field and everyone falls over. It's great. And yeah, it's great. Miley's goal, did you notice in detail? It's well, if you haven't watched it, watch it back, because I'm pretty sure it clips Dino's box on the way through. Right. And yes, there was something else I wanted to say. That's Alan. Yes, when you said they look a bit leggy, it's due to frame rate. Right? If you're watching on a dodgy stream, everyone looks a little leggy, right? Nobody's leggy in the Premiership. They're all very, very fit. And a little bit of extra news. I want to say something about this illness business. This is quite important. I did the show last week, and I said I was struggling a bit because I had flu. And I lost a week, and I was stomping around thinking I had got Alzheimer's or something because I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't think. And it's very important in this sort, when the weather's like this, to go and check on people, especially old people you know, because you can go to bed with a snivel and wake up in a full-blown respiratory crisis. Okay, so I'm being serious here. Please check on people, old people around us. And it goes back to the idea. I was playing with pain last week. I was sat and I was in tremendous pain because I had cholera as a child, and I've never quite recovered. And it does affect your performance, right? So bear in mind when you see players playing through injuries and all the rest of it, it does affect you, right? It does affect you, at least in your mind. And I hope anybody, when Darren was down there, I hope he picks up a bet of the official club locking wheel nuts, which are available from the club shop. And that's very good. And that's more or less I'd like to say, because we'd like to get off quickly. And I don't want to make any. I would like to say about Ramsdale and Pope. Pope's done very well. We always need someone to blame, and he hadn't done anything wrong. And then, he's made a mistake. Ooh. We've always said we've always wanted to see Ramsdale. He made a mistake, and unfortunately, goalkeepers making mistakes is what about a third of the goals in football? Probably statistically down to somebody making a mistake. I mean, goals in football, somebody makes a mistake, and when it's the goalie, it's pretty obvious. So leave the guy alone. But Ramsdale, yes, I'm very pleased. He's good, isn't he? Yes, very nice on the ball, very calm and confident. And that's the other thing about our play, right? It's very calm. It's relaxed. They're not playing any fear at all. And when they lose the ball, they don't panic. It's all very calm. And everyone knows back in position, just keep moving. You know, we just keep denying them space. And they haven't got the tactics. It's all very pretty, passing the ball backwards and forwards, but it doesn't go anywhere. It all looks very nice, and it always ends back with the fullbacks again. And they knock it out again, and round it goes. And, you know, we had 50% of the possession of a lot of these things, and there were a ridiculous number of shots on target. I've lost the statistics now, but there were loads of shots on target. It's really exciting.
I think we had 8.
8, yeah, that's it, 8. Really good stuff, right? I'm very pleased to see this football. Rock on. We can't win every game, otherwise we'd win the league, I think. I think that's how it works. And even if we draw every game, we're not going to be far off, surely. Anyway.
Great stuff, Jeff.
Thank you.
As always, interesting. Some people feel like it's the Twilight Zone. Some people asking if someone's checking on you. Some people saying some people are saying that the men in white coats are knocking on the door, Jeff. But Jeff,
I've got a story about that.
I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go into that, Jeff. Yeah. Alan, coming to you last, mate. Give us your review on that. I mean, it's a great result, mate. And you know, we've got positivity on this channel. We've got negativity. We've got people who sit on the fence. Got realists. We've got a good cross section on the fans forum. How are you feeling, mate, after back-to-back wins in the Premier League against Man City and Everton?
Absolutely buzzing, Steve. Absolutely buzzing. I thought the Ramsdale situation, we can all look at it different ways, but if Sir Alex Ferguson done that, it would be called absolute masterstroke by protecting the player Pope and seeing he's got an injury and he's back in the sidelines to recover from his disaster in Marseille, and people would be calling it a Alec Ferguson masterclass of getting the player in that he really wants without hurting the player's confidence too much. The two fullbacks, lads, what can you say? Never mind your PSR, your DSR, your OCD issues. You need to sign them up on long-term contracts, lads, because they're the future. You know, Livermore has been linked with Man City for the last couple of months. We need to tie them down because they make us tick big style. The centre halves, Burn, fantastic leader. But I do believe going forward, see if you swap and change game by game with Shaw and Shaw, what can you say? Pure class. Pure class. Lewis Miley, going on to him. He's a young lad. He'll have his up days like the other day. He'll be brilliant. And then you have his downers. And you have fans saying he's not good enough. He's not good enough. Did we not do the same thing with Elliot Anderson, who didn't really get a chance at the club? And within 2 years now, he's counted to be 80 to 90 million pound player. So don't be too hard on the lad. Don't boost him up too much. But we know he's going to be a good player forward. I thought Joelinton got a little bit better. I thought Bruno run the show as well. Harvey Barnes and Elanga had his best game. He's talking about small little things. I don't know if you saw the coverage, lads, when the fourth goal went in, Elanga went into the crowd, and that'll give him confidence because the crowd were, you know, covering him up with, you know, adulation. So that'll be a good thing. I'm not going to gloat about the stadium being empty, lads, because it's a modern day fan today. We were the same last year against West Ham. I was shocked when we got beat 2-0 and the ground was virtually empty. So
Not as bad as that.
Yeah, I'm not going to gloat about that. So it's a modern day, Ian. The fans go. I've seen we've been drawn and winning, and there's hundreds of fans leaving the ground, and I cannot understand it myself. But it's a modern way. And when you're getting beat 4-0, 4-1, you're going to leave. But it was great to see. Don't get us wrong, Ian. It was great to see, but that's the modern day fan today. We've got two absolutely massive games. I know people are going to say we should beat Spurs. They've got their arse kicked the other day. They'll be up for it. So we've got to match them. It's just like what we had against Marseille. We were down. We've got to be up for Tottenham and Burnley coming forward. Massive 2 games forward. But what can I say, Steve? I agree with you, Steve, on the point of your show on Wednesday night with George. Fans go absolutely OTT about criticism, about players, and they go too far. And I think we should, on this forum, at least we've got a level base where, yes, they make mistakes. I'm with Pavlo. I wanted Ramsdale in as well now after the mistake he made. I was ranting and raving about him, but I wouldn't go on and say he's rubbish, he's rubbish. He's been a great servant of the team and club, and we shouldn't decry that what he's done just because he makes some howlers. Yes, we know there's better keepers out there, and everybody in the chat, we know that. And Ramsdale could be a better keeper, so we'll go with him. But I think so many fans want Eddie Howe out at the slightest defeat, and you just think it's just nonsense, really. We've got to keep a level head. I'm hoping and praying we win tomorrow night, Steve, because I don't know if the lads know, Sunderland have got Man City, Liverpool away. We could quite easily be next Monday to be ahead of them lads going into a Titanic derby game, which I'm really, really looking forward to in a couple of weeks' time. And the Germany game in between. So long may it continue, Steve. I'm a realist, not to get carried away. The fans we're entitled to get carried away, but the players mustn't do what Everton have just done. They beat Man United away. Their fans want a high, thinking they beat us, and then they come down like a ton of bricks. So we've got to keep a level field and make sure we do the job tomorrow night and Saturday. Because Aston Villa played Wolves, and by the highlights I saw, Steve, Wolves were by far the better team, because every Aston Villa fan would have thought they'll hammer Wolves. And it doesn't pan out like that. Football is not like that. But we need to keep the grip, get on a run, and there's nothing, as much as I've said we'll never make top 5 this season, and the bet with Ian is still on till the end of the season. And you're right what you're saying, Steve, we can't judge it. It's only the start of December. We have got a great chance of getting in the top 5 if we do it well. Well, I'll leave
Actually,
it.
I cashed out on £99.77 a few weeks ago, mate.
Yeah, my prediction. My prediction: a top five and a cup win is still on track. So we will see where we're at by the end of the season. Okay, I've got another podcast to do, so I'm going to just go around the board and get your predictions on the two games we've got coming up. I can give you a little bit of information about the Spurs game tomorrow. We kick off at 8:15. It's live on Sky Sports, and Spurs, of course, coming to town. This is the second time in just over a month they visited us in the Carabao Cup, and of course lost by 2-0. Newcastle are looking for a 7th successive home win in the league and cup. They've beaten Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Manchester City in the Premier League, Benfica and Bilbao in the Champions League, and Spurs in the Carabao Cup. The team news that we got today from Eddie was that Newcastle will be without Kieran Trippier, Sven Botman, Nick Pope and Will Asula. The availability of Yohan Wissa is yet to be confirmed, although he has taken part in 11 versus 11 game, and he is going to play in another one this week. As for Tottenham, Christian Romero will be available after serving a suspension, while Kota Takai is back in training. James Maddison, Dominic Solanke, Dejan Kulusevski and Radu Dragusin are all still unavailable. Thomas Frank's side are currently level with Newcastle on points, but ahead on goal difference. They've just taken 1 point from the last 12, which was a 2-2 home draw with Manchester United. They've lost at home to Chelsea and Fulham and beaten at Arsenal in the North London derby as well. Spurs are in better Premier League form on the road so far this season than at home. They've won 4 and drawn 1, and they've lost losing 1 of their 6 away games to date. Victories came at Manchester City by 2-0. West Ham 3-0, Leeds 2-1 and Everton 3-0. A point came from a 2-2 stalemate at Brighton, and the most recent away fixture ended in a 4-1 defeat at Arsenal. Referees Tom Bramall, it's his first game at Newcastle this season. Last game that he was at SJP was a 4-0 Premier League home win over Leicester City in December. And on VAR, it is Paul Tierney. There will be the usual food bank collection outside the ground, so make sure you take some change and stick your money in the buckets. Okay, George, I will come to you for this one. The Spurs game. Give us your prediction for the Spurs game tomorrow night.
Well, Spurs, as I said early on, are doing the reverse to us: poor at home and good away. And remember, when we beat them in the Carabao Cup, they fielded a very weakened team. But that doesn't ultimate the fact that I think that if we play anywhere near as well as we did on Saturday, we'll get a victory, and I think it'll be another 2-0 victory.
Okay, we'll get your thoughts on Burnley at the weekend. Over to you, Kev. I need the results from both games for you. How do you think we're going to do?
I think it's a great time to play both. I've just looked at both teams' records. They're not in very good form, conceding goals left and right. I'll go 3-0 tomorrow night, and I'll go 4-0 Saturday.
Okay. Alan?
I'll go like George. I'll go 2-0 tomorrow night, Steve, and I'll go 3-1 on Saturday.
3-1 on Saturday. Okay. Ian?
I'm going to go for a Penman tomorrow night and a 2-0 Saturday.
Okay. Tom?
Well, I agree. A Penman tomorrow night. I feel pretty good about that. I think Burnley, we're going to have to rest some folks, get ready for Leverkusen. So I don't think we're going to score very much. So I'm going to just go 1-0 on Saturday.
1-0 against Burnley. Okay. Pablo?
I'm going to mirror exactly what Alan said. 2-0 against Tottenham. I think since we've beaten, they've only beat Copenhagen, haven't they? And had a good spanking here and there. So I think the abscess has kicked in a little bit at Tottenham. They're a very expectant bunch down there. And I think listening on TalkSport, I think there's a mini abscess kicking in against Thomas Frank. So, 2-0 tomorrow night. And I think the Burnley game, I'll go 3-1. 3-1.
Okay. Last but by no means least, Jeff and Rex.
Well, Rex and I both think it's going to be 3-0 and 3-0. And just a late-breaking bit of news, Pete Hesketh has leaked that the new stadium foyer is going to feature a cockfighting pit. Excellent.
Great stuff, Jeff. I've got no idea what that means, and I don't want to visualize it. I'm back tomorrow at 2.
Rex. Sword
Ian,
fight.
2 o'clock tomorrow, Talk of the Tune. Me, Sid and Rob will be here to entertain you. Thanks, lads. Take care.
Thanks,
Good to
everyone.
see you, lads.
Take care, lads.
Good to see you.
Take care.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickys.co.uk. Email info@mrvickys.co.uk or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2-crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk.